Gaining, folks. There's some things that we need to address here. Some things that should be worth noting that are very dangerous. This is a sports edition as well. Now, we all get excited when you beat your rivals, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. We'll name several college rivals. Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State. Now, congratulations, Ohio State. They won 44-31 over Penn State. I mean, Penn State can be a bit of a rivalry. It seems to be the new rivalry, considering, last year Michigan lucked out with Ohio State. But then again, Ohio State's defense was garbage last year. Ohio State literally gave up. And that'll be another topic at the end of this year. We'll do the stats compare from last year's Ohio State's defense to this year. And we'll do a comparison. But back on to this. You look at how numbers are. Now you look at the behavior after the game. Michigan wins. Congrats to them. But they only won 29-7. Michigan State allowed 2 touchdowns. Totally different team than when we played. We literally demolished them badly. I did not see that one coming, but we pretty much annihilated Michigan State. But on their side, Michigan, that is, 2 touchdowns. Well, Michigan State had a 7-3 lead going in at the end of the first quarter. Then Michigan pretty much took command from there on out. A touchdown, taking a 10-7, then a field goal, 13-7. Then 16-7, another field goal, touchdown. Then 23-7, another touchdown. 23-7, another field goal, and another field goal. So several field goals, but only 2 touchdowns out of the whole shebang. You take away the field goals, it's only a 14-7 victory. So technically, the stats may not show it. Now, as of the Ohio State game, Penn State technically won that game when it comes to the stat game. Except for the turnover battle. Ohio State won the turnover battle decisively. But the stats, when it comes to the yardage allowed, defense, literally, Penn State, you gotta give it to Penn State defense. They literally came to play today. It's just the fourth quarter is when Ohio State finally lit it up and finally got on fire. I don't know what finally got underneath Ohio State's rear end, but finally something happened and we got on fire. But we just didn't come to play in the first 3 quarters, and finally the fourth quarter is when we finally lit it up and finally got it going. And we won 44-31. Now, the antics of the game of Michigan. A player from Michigan, 2 players apparently from Michigan got beat up. One was documented, the other one was not documented, but what occurred was, supposedly, nobody really knows exactly what words were exchanged, but apparently one of the Michigan players got away from the other players, got away from his own players in this picture, supposedly, in a video that has, a second video that is since service, other than the video that everyone sees where the Michigan players getting beat up by all Michigan State players. But this video shows that, the second video that has surfaced shows Michigan player running away from his players all by his lonesome, going into the locker room, and pretty much, I don't know exactly what he's doing, running in there away from his players instead of waiting on the other players just to do that. Who knows exactly what. But he runs in there and gets beat up. Now, he should have just stayed right with his players, with his fellow teammates. But instead, runs around his fellow teammates, runs right past the Michigan State team, and was doing some dancing with supposedly another Michigan player. And that's what triggered Michigan State. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not at all happy with Michigan State's behavior. I do not tolerate that kind of behavior. I wouldn't tolerate that kind of behavior if that was any Buckeye fan. As diehard of a Buckeye fan and I am, I wouldn't tolerate that kind of behavior from any Buckeye that would do that. That's not acceptable. You don't do that. You don't beat a rival up like that. Regardless if you're a Penn State football player or whoever you are, you don't beat anybody up like that. That's not how you are. You don't treat anybody that way. But on the other hand, you gotta think of it like this. It's what he said to them probably is what triggered them. On the flip side of that, who knows what went on. I mean, we don't have any audio of what really went on. It just shows him dancing in there, running right past the guys. I don't know exactly what else. It just shows that. It just shows him dancing there. That's the second video. And then in the middle of the hallway, I don't know. I'm not real familiar with Michigan Stadium because I've never been there before. I've been past it, but never been in there. But there's a tunnel there. And some people have been critical of Michigan, saying there needs to be 2 tunnels instead of 1. Because ever since the 1973 Michigan-Ohio State game, which has been a big annex for a long time, Ohio State came run out on the field, ripped down the banner that the Michigan has always run through. They ripped down that banner. And Michigan's been very critical of that. And ever since then, Michigan has always been the first team to run out on the field. Then when finally Michigan says, hey, we're good to go, voila. Then that's when it's all good to go. But supposedly it looked like Michigan State was heading into the locker room during the time of this whole incident. Looked like they were by Michigan State's locker room. I'm not really sure exactly where their locker room is compared to where this whole incident took place at. I don't really know exactly where locker rooms are compared to each other. One side might be Michigan State, the one side might be Michigan. I'm not really sure where locker rooms are compared to one another. But if it compared where all the Michigan State players were, it looked like they were heading to the locker room. He should have just stayed away from them and just gone straight to the locker room, if anything. He had no business being over there on that side, if that is where they were heading. Well, tell me what you think in the comments down below. I mean, it's on YouTube. That's how I found out about it. So, if you like this page, hit the like button. And hit the like button. And hit the thumbs up for notifications. And that being said, leave a comment down below what you think actually occurred there. And with that being said, I'm out of here. Peace.